Saturday morning, Kansas Speedway garage. A driver walks up to Denny. Hamlin stands close and says 4 words without raising his voice. "I can make it hell." Hamlin doesn't move. Someone 15 feet away lifts a phone and starts recording. 12 hours later, that same driver isn't using words anymore. He's using a 3,400-pound stock car live on national television with Hamlin boxed in front of him with nowhere to go. That single moment is only one of 4 separate conflicts Denny Hamlin is currently fighting at the same time. A media war, a legal war, a locker room war, and a war with the very sport that signs his paycheck. Each one ignited within the same few weeks of 2026, and by the end of this video, the order in which they happened will change how you see all 4. Before we go further, if you're new here, this channel, NASCAR Racing World, is closing in on 500 subscribers, and every single one of you watching right now is part of getting us there. If you want more breakdowns like this one, hitting subscribe and tapping that like button genuinely helps this channel grow. Your support is what allows us to keep digging into stories like this one. Let's start with the smallest fire because it's the most recent and the most public. On June 15, 2026, veteran NASCAR reporter Kelly Crandall posted that the sport's qualifying metric system wasn't working anymore, suggesting a random draw could replace it. Fellow reporter Toby Christie backed her position. Hamlin didn't just disagree, he went after both of them directly on his own podcast, Actions Detrimental. On X, Hamlin fired back, "Waiver rounds, lucky dogs, double file restarts, overtime, need more handouts." He didn't stop with the reporters. Hamlin pulled a third name into the argument to make his point, Brad Keselowski. His hypothetical was specific. What if Keselowski drew the #1 pill at the regular season finale at Dover, sitting on the playoff bubble after grinding through an entire season for points? Hamlin's argument was that random luck overriding a full year of work isn't competition, it's a lottery. Keselowski never asked to be the example. As of this recording, he has not responded publicly. That silence raises a question on its own. Is he letting it go or is something building? That's the small fire, reporters, and a hypothetical. The next one is institutional, and it goes back further than people realize. Weeks before the qualifying argument, Hamlin used his podcast to target something much bigger, NASCAR's appeals process itself. This isn't theoretical for him. In 2023, Hamlin was fined $50,000 and docked 25 points for intentionally wrecking Ross Chastain at Phoenix, something he admitted to on his own podcast. He appealed, he lost. That history sets up his present accusation. Hamlin says the same structure failed again, this time against Ryan Preece, who was penalized for contact with Ty Gibbs at Texas. On Actions Detrimental, Hamlin told listeners, "It's not a fair fight, guys. It's not broadcasted for a reason." His specific grievance involves SMT data, the tracking system NASCAR uses to evaluate on-track incidents. Hamlin pointed out that NASCAR dismissed SMT as unreliable in his own Chastain case, then relied on it heavily against Preece. In that same stretch, NASCAR did not penalize Kyle Busch for late race contact with John Hunter Nemechek and used SMT data to clear him. Hamlin's underlying point is that there is no objection process in that appeals room. Drivers sit, listen, and the people delivering the punishment are the same people reviewing it. If his claim holds up, it isn't a Hamlin problem anymore, it becomes a credibility problem for every driver who has ever been fined or docked points by that same system. That's NASCAR, that's institutional. The next fire isn't outside the sport, it's inside his own race shop. This is the part of the story that carries the most personal weight. The name here is Chris Gabehart, Hamlin's crew chief from 2019 to 2024. Together they won 22 races, 2 Daytona 500s and a Southern 500. A crew chief hears everything: strategy, doubt, fear, the kind of access built entirely on trust. In 2025, Gabehart moved into a competition director role at Joe Gibbs Racing, then left for rival team Spire Motorsports. A forensic investigation into his work laptop, conducted by JGR, allegedly found him photographing confidential setup data, sponsor information, and salary details, then syncing those files to a personal Google Drive folder labeled Spire. A court has already found that Gabehart misappropriated trade secrets. JGR also hired a private investigator who tracked Gabehart meeting Spire co-owner Jeff Dickerson for lunch before the move was ever made public. When Dickerson defended the hire publicly, Hamlin's response on X was blunt: "Yeah, okay, buddy." When reporters later asked Hamlin directly if he felt betrayed by Gabehart, he didn't answer in words. He nodded twice and ended the interview. He later admitted the reaction was a knee-jerk reaction, while adding that it doesn't change how he feels. This is the second time in a single month that trust has broken in Hamlin's world, first inside the sport's own rulebook, now inside the people who once sat beside him on pit road. 2 fires down, both about trust breaking. The next one isn't a tweet and it isn't a lawsuit, it's a stock car, and it already happened on camera. On Actions Detrimental, Hamlin assessed Kyle Busch's 3-year winless stretch at Richard Childress Racing. He said, "Kyle Busch, I can't hold the guy's helmet talent-wise." But he followed that compliment by saying the slump wasn't new, it had stretched across 5 years, and that fans needed to recalibrate their expectations of a Hall of Fame-level talent who wasn't closing the gap on his own teammate. Busch didn't post a response and didn't wait. At Kansas Speedway in person, he said, "I don't feel like Denny Hamlin even knows what the hell he's talking about." He went further, adding that he could make Hamlin's life hell on the track. Hamlin's public reply on X shifted in tone from defiant to almost cornered. "I'm walking a damn tight rope here." The very next day at Kansas, Hamlin led 131 of 274 laps while fighting for the win. Busch finished 35th, 4 laps down. Every camera angle and every replay from that race became the story reporters and fans zoomed in on afterward. Out of all 4 conflicts, this is the only one that moved from words into a physical, on-track consequence, broadcast live with no edit and no script. Now go back to the first fire, the qualifying argument, the Keselowski mention. By the time Hamlin went after Crandall and Christie, he was already absorbing pressure from the NASCAR appeals fight and the Gabehart situation. Keselowski's name simply happened to land in the blast radius of an argument that was never really about qualifying numbers in the first place. The real question isn't whether these are 4 separate fires, it's whether one driver is under more pressure than the public initially realized, with the strain surfacing in 4 different rooms at once. 4 fires, 1 driver, none of them are close to finished. Does Brad Keselowski eventually respond to being used as someone else's argument? Does the Gabehart case reveal anything further before it's resolved? Was Kansas the final word from Kyle Busch or just the first one? And if NASCAR's appeals process really works the way Hamlin describes it, how many other penalized drivers start asking the same question out loud? Drop a 1 in the comments if you think Hamlin is the problem. Drop a 2 if you think he's the only one in that garage willing to say what everyone else is thinking. This list might have a 5th fire on it by next week. If you found this breakdown useful, comment your take below and share this video with another NASCAR fan who needs to see it. And if you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.